So we're at ITSM17. It's getting busy. The tea trolley lady has rolled out her tea trolley, and I'm talking to Sally Bogg from Leeds Beckett University, head of
End User Services.
That's right. Great to see you.
And you too, as always.
And you have been presenting today on what were you talking? I know it was about keeping people happy and stuff.
So it was all about using reward and recognition to improve customer service. So that was the sort of main focus. But just that, looking at people, it's not about process, it's not about technology. You've got to have that solid foundation of good people really to build any service on.
Well, I mean, what would be a sort of practical takeaway from that? I mean, if somebody was just starting out as a manager, what would they go away from that session thinking, right, I'm going to do that, that and that to improve that?
I hope I gave 3 really quite practical takeaways from that one. The first one is recognising good work and excellent service, and to sort of recognise that publicly, or kind of, we're a bit British, aren't we? And IT and the kind of British culture, we're not very good at sort of celebrating success. So trying to do that in a more whoop it up kind of way can actually be really, really powerful. So recognition from management, and in particular senior management, is really powerful. The second one is a team, really. It's not just kind of a group of people that are working together. They spend a lot of time together, and to really get that service culture, you've got to build in an element of fun. You've got to let people have fun, and team building. So in your service,
against our British culture as well.
Again, against our British culture. So maybe I'm saying I'm not very British, but so using team building to kind of build that camaraderie, whether that's factoring in time for team meetings, using sort of charitable initiatives to have a bit of fun. So we've done Jeans for Jeans, Children in Need, Red Nose Day, all those kind of things. And then maybe trying to look at some activities outside of work to kind of again strengthen that team and just have that fun. And then the third one is kind of maybe using the more formal recognition and reward sort of strategies that you might look at, in particular industry awards. So I've had a lot of success in using submissions for industry awards to really motivate a team. So I know it's a bit cheesy, it's not always about the winning, and of course winning is amazing, but when you are putting those team submissions in and you do that as a joint enterprise, you're getting everybody involved in that process. It's giving people the opportunity to have a sense of pride and achievement in what they do. And I found that to be really, really successful. So we talked a bit about the SDI, the IT Service and Support Awards, but often organisations will have their own customer service awards. There's the
Professional Service Management Awards.
The Professional Service Management Awards. I was going to say ITSMF, but they're called the Professional Service Management Awards. I'm particularly happy to see the Young Professional Award. I think that's absolutely brilliant. We are struggling with the pipeline at the moment, so I think they can be really, really useful. But also having sort of formal events as well. So when we refurbished the service desk at the University of Leeds, we had a traditional sort of cutting of the ribbon ceremony. We've just had a service desk certification coffee morning at Leeds Beckett, just to increase that engagement and participation. So I think anything, when you're looking at reward and recognition, it's not a one thing. You've got to have a varied approach, and some of that will be formal, some of that will be informal, and you've got to find what works for your team. But what I will say is, I can say hand on heart that I've seen the return on investment 100% with that. It's been absolutely brilliant.
I mean, that's really great to hear. I mean, because I think the challenge at the moment, because there are so many new models and frameworks and best practice. I mean, these things are all good, but they're not the main story.
They're not the people stuff either, are they? So don't underestimate that. It gives you that solid foundation to kind of build everything else on. But if you haven't got that rock solid team and that sort of service culture and the right people, then I think you can have all the frameworks in the world, but you're not going to get the same outcome. Happy people give great service. I know it's really cheesy. But it's so true. If you've ever been on the receiving end of customer service that's obviously been delivered by a disgruntled member of staff, it's so obvious. I mean, employees that leave and might accidentally turn off Donald Trump's Twitter account, for example, is the one that springs to mind.
Yeah.
But it's the McDonald's thing when you go in and they say, "Oh, have a nice day," and it's just they don't mean it.
Just moving on from that, I mean, in terms of, because I'm really interested in the higher education sector, and I know you work with UCHISA and so on, which to me has been probably one of the most interesting areas in the last few years, because it really has gone like that, with student fees and the commercialisation chain, and really at the bleeding edge in technology in many cases. I mean, does it feel like that from the inside?
So 5 or 6 years ago, when I was originally sort of attending events like this and going to the SDI event, I used to kind of sit at the back and think, oh, I wish we were doing some of that. Oh, that sounds brilliant. And then the explosion of BYOD was a big thing for us, for our sector, and the introduction of that, the higher fee regime was the other. And so I think we spent 3 or 4 years kind of really squirreling and working hard on that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually, we've got a better grip of social media than a lot of IT organisations have. We're doing BYOD, and I tell you what, I remember going to the SDI conference in 2014, and there was a demonstration of Google Glass, and Patrick Bolger, I think he opened it up to the question, what would you do if one of these came onto your service desk? And somebody from a university put the hand up and was like, well, it already has, and we just treat it like we would any other device. We just get on with it. We're not faffing about writing policies and procedures. And I thought, oh, we've arrived.
We'd punch him like anybody else.
Yeah. So I think that was for me. So no, it didn't feel like it at the time. And I remember that was the sort of turning point for me, where I thought, I want to get out and talk about some of the stuff. I'll go into events and thinking, we're doing better than that. I've got more to say than that. So.
I think because you have, for example, you do tend to have physical.
Walk-in support is fairly common.
Is really common, but in so many other places it's just been completely cut off, and it does make such a difference to do that.
It was interesting today in a couple of sessions that have come up where some of the problems that have been kind of talked about, and one was 5 days for a printer cartridge. I can tell you now, none of my academics or my students would be willing to wait 5 days while a printer was out of action. It just wouldn't happen. We've got managed print services, we've got event management. It's all quite practical though. I wouldn't, and then the other one was 3 months for a laptop turnaround. It's like, no,
Yeah.
So
we've got away with that for too long. It's come to.
And I'm not saying we are perfect. I think we have some real challenges in our sector. A lot of what we do, so for example, things like resourcing model, total cost of ownership, return on investment. We're not amazing at doing that kind of stuff, and I guess financially we're managed in a different way. You get given a pot of money and you deliver the very best service you can for that pot of money. It's not kind of working it out to pounds and pence. And
to be honest, most commercial, unless they are an MSP,
well, I think
financial, but the rest are.
I always remember being judged for the the best small service desk at the awards in 2014. St Andrews beat us to that one, but I'm not bitter. And Adrian Chi, I think it was, came from CGI, and he could not get his head around the fact that we didn't know what a cost of an incident was. I was like, well, I could tell you how much it costs for my service desk to run, and therefore how much for us to handle it. But after it goes outside of here,
but it's important to them because they are.
They've got to sell that back as a service. So I think it's understanding. There'll be some areas where we won't be like the private sector because we don't need to be, or it's just different, and then other areas where we are, and then there are other areas where we're maybe kind of leading the way as well. So I think BYOD and social media, we've kind of
got that sorted. All right, Sally, thank you as ever.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you for having me. It's been brilliant.
Nice to talk to you.
Has exceeded my expectations.
Great. I look forward to.
Yes, I shall give you my feedback.
High score in the feedback form, and we'll see you soon, yeah?
You will, yes, thank you.